Player 458's decisive push hurls their opponent into the endless... In a moment of lifted blindfold, Player 458 confronts a nightmare as the guard's gaze locks directly onto them. Through the hazy darkness, Player 458 sprints like a phantom, their ragged breaths matching the frantic pace of their desperate run. Darkness envelops all, leaving only Player 458's ragged breaths and a chaotic heartbeat, a chilling prelude to the storm to come. On the precarious bridge, Player 077 lunges with ruthless intent, shoving Player 458 towards the abyss of despair. Darkness envelops all, leaving only Player 458's ragged breaths and a chaotic heartbeat, a chilling prelude to the storm to come. From the infinite darkness, blinding white light pulls Player 458 back to reality, revealing a starkly new world.
Player 458 awakens in an unfamiliar setting, trembling hands and the number 458 on their attire the only markers of existence.
Within the suffocating confines of the crowded warehouse, Player 458 slowly awakens, met by hundreds of bewildered, unfamiliar faces. Amidst the anonymous crowd, Player 458 finds a flicker of hope in Player 218's gaze and reassuring nod. Facing Player 077's cold, calculating gaze, Player 458 acutely senses the palpable danger in this deadly game. The steel doors part, ushering in blinding light and the ominous presence of 3 pink guards, heralding the start of the games. Standing before the authoritative presence of the 3 pink guards, Player 458 feels the palpable tension as the game is about to commence. Player 458 is thrust into a dark corridor, where faint teal lines on the floor guide them toward a mysterious, menacing metal maze. The guard presents a black blindfold to Player 458, a moment of facing the unknown and the impending plunge into the game's darkness. The screen remains black, emphasizing Player 458's hesitant steps and the tumultuous beat of their heart, a stark portrayal of their uncertain journey. The screen remains black as Player 458 cautiously advances, drawn by the pure, clear sound of a bell. The screen stays black as a deafening electric buzz erupts, immediately followed by a piercing scream that is abruptly silent. The screen stays black as Player 458 abruptly freezes, their ragged breaths and pounding heart betraying the sheer terror and cold sweat that washes over them. The screen remains black, their trembling steps echoing the flow spite. The screen stays black as Player 58 stumbles upon a soft, immobile form, their hesitant touch turning to sheer terror. Player 458 dares to peek through a minuscule slit in their blindfold, only to be met with the chilling, piercing gaze of the square guard, who seems to have detected their every move. With the final bell, Player 458 surges forward, ripping off the blindfold to be met by an overwhelming white light.
Player 458 takes a deep breath, their first tentative step onto the glowing bridge signaling the
Player 4 treads cautiously on the narrow bridge, their vision subtly shaking with Player 458 watches, filled with growing concern, as Player 218 advances with a visible tremble. Player 458 quickens their pace, reaching out with a trembling hand towards Player 218, a gesture of shared fear and In a sudden, violent surge, Player 077 shoves Player 458. Player 458's gaze is fixed on the chilling confrontation unfolding as Player 077, with predatory intent, advances on the
Player 2118, face etched with sheer terror and despair, turns in a sudden, desperate plea to Player 458.
Caught in a desperate standoff on the narrow bridge, Player 458's gaze flickers between the menacing Player 077 and the terrified Player 218. With unbridled ferocity, Player 077 lunges at Player 218, shoving her towards the abyss in a moment of pure chaos and terror.
In a moment of pure chaos, Player 458 lunges forward, the camera shaking violently as the action of bridge.
In a moment of unwavering resolve, player 458 lunges forward with decisive force, reaching into the hazy
Player 458's eyes flutter open to a blinding white room, a stark contrast to the chaos they endured, finding
In the stark white room, both players' gazes are fixed on the ominous red button, the silence amplifying the weight of the impending decision.
In the sterile white room, player 458 meets the gaze of player 218, her face a canvas of raw emotion.
Player 458's trembling hands become steady as their gaze locks onto the red button, a silent testament to a soul-stirring decision made. In an extreme close-up, player 458's hand moves with agonizing slowness towards the red button. Each millimeter